Hello, my dotlings. Welcome to another dot bait video where I am apparently working through a blockage because I started trying to shoot this video somewhere around 10 o'clock and it's now like 2:30 and I got other stuff to do. But I'm going to work through this blockage with you. It's nothing to do with what the video is doing. It's just kind of going on in the background. Today, I'm gonna give a content warning because we're gonna talk a little bit about abusive relationships, and we're also gonna we're gonna talk a little bit about some body horror things. Um, Essentially, the topic of this dot bait video, as you know, these are things I run into in my office. These are things that I have to deal with as a professional psychic, and one of the big things I have to deal with are it's the empath vampire dynamic. And I don't really, and for those who don't understand that language, essentially that is the spiritualized version of an abusive relationship. And I think it's important to say that certain behaviors are abusive, so that we're not plastering over them. um but that's still, like, that is a whole video that I kind of want to do someday. I really want to focus on the anomalies in the empath's aura. There tend to be, when I see these vampiric connections, they tend to leave, here's where the body horror comes in, they tend to leave hooks in people's aura. And that's how I perceive them. I think other people will perceive them differently, but I do notice that these anomalies tend to reflect the relationship. For example, I may have somebody come in, then the relationship is not that terrible. Like, yeah, there's some issues, I see some hooks, but they're almost like little gold and silver hooks kind of attached to the heart, and sometimes they're kind of next to or around what seems like an otherwise healthy attachment. Like, if you're passing energy with somebody, like, I'm married. I have an energetic connection to my husband. I've also seen where my personal insecurities have caused me to maybe put a hook in him. I kind of, that reaching out, and to be able to see that and remove those hooks, I think, is an important step, because, seeing where your insecurities cause you to behave a certain way and really analyze it is important. Sometimes over analyzing is one of the things I do that kind of, I can see when I'm doing it, he'll kind of get just distracted and go do other things. I'm like, you know what, okay, I'm just gonna let him do that, because I'm probably not actually fixing something here. I'm just irritating an old wound. So there are, just little things like that. And enough of them will kind of start to cause the otherwise healthy connection to decay. And I definitely see that where relationships are just kind of over. I've certainly seen, and I think some of them I hope that I caught in plenty of time, like, I'm going to remove these hooks, but the two of you really need to go do a date night. You all really need to kind of discuss some of your insecurities with each other, like, why are we panicking? Why are these responses occurring? That sort of thing. And they look more delicate. They look almost like jewelry and tend to be around the heart space. But I've seen other ones, like, somebody started talking about their coworker, and I was like, okay, this coworker's driving you crazy. I'm like, where in your body does it hurt when they talk to you? And they were like, my head. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the whole scan, because often people have more than one and they don't realize it. Because once you've got one in you, it's just as easy. It's almost like a it's almost like a target symbol. It's like, oh, this person will let you drain their energy. Let me put my hook in there. Yeah. So this coworker, every time this person talked to this particular coworker, they would get a massive headache. And I was like, and I look at this thing, and it's just like, it was like a bad horror movie hook, I'm like, somebody invented this thing and it was just stuck in their head. I'm like, and I pull this out and they're like, oh, wow, I feel so much clearer. Like, my mind feels more clear. And I'm like, okay, yeah, don't talk to that person anymore. And sometimes you can feel them sinking that hook in. Like, if they'll say something that will hurt your body. It's the only way I know how to describe it. Because it will feel like they'll say something stupid. And that kind of insults your intelligence. And then your head hurts every time you talk to them. Or they'll say something to hurt your feelings. Especially work ethic we tend to carry in our shoulders. Like I said, these hooks are kind of analogies for the relationship. So they can pop up in different places. A lot of people seem to find them in their hips and their pelvic area. And you think about it, that's a lot of to do with stability and personhood. It's just, it is an interesting thing. And then I tell you what, they look all sorts of different ways. Like I've described the little petite jewelry hooks that happen in relationships. And I think everybody has a couple of those. And that, that's one of the things you just work through. And a lot of times simply working through those emotional issues will cause those hooks to kind of dissolve back into what is a healthy connection. But I'll never forget this person had their mother was abusive. Their mother was abusive. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They were bad. And so I see this hook, and it looked like a rusty, almost hitch hook. I don't know if you've ever seen those where like you can hook something onto like these big metal hooks, but it was sharpened and it was elongated. I'm like, it did not look like any functional hook I've ever seen in real life. It was its own thing, and it was deep. And as I pulled it out, they said that they felt nauseous. Like they really felt like they were going to throw up. I got that thing out and disposed of it, which is a whole video in of itself. But essentially, like you would a cleansing. A lot of times just pulling them out, especially if it's somebody who's passed on, simply pulling it out, that hook will dissolve. If they're still like attached to somebody, you can like return to sender. You can like just I energetically pull it really hard and send it back, and they'll snap back and get the person who sent them out. It's one of my favorites. But also, if that's not something you want to do, and there's plenty of good reasons why you wouldn't want to do that, because you don't want that person to come, like, you don't want to give that person back that energy, you can kind of burn them off. So these are some of the ways to dispose of it. But I remember pulling it out, and they were like, they felt better. And that's another thing. Like, sometimes when you pull them out, people will feel better. Almost instantly. The weirdest things, I'll stand behind people a lot of times when if they're all back here, it's easier to stand behind somebody and pull them out, and they don't necessarily see what I'm doing. But I've watched them physically respond. The two that I can think of, like, right off the top of my head, fairly recently, because this happens all the time, so I'm only thinking about the more recent cases, because this is probably 3 out of every 5 people that come through my door are doing so because of these energetic attachments. But I pulled this thing out, and I watched the guy in front of me. I think he had his eyes closed. He's looking down. He's not looking... he can't see me, but I pull it out, and as I'm pulling it out, I'm watching him shiver. I'm like, that's kind of wild, man. Like, that's just that validation. Another one was this person had come in to support their friend who'd come in, and like the moment I looked at her, I'm like, I keyed in. I'm like, okay, honey, like, let's get you worked on too. And, so I go to pull this hook out, and it's in her shoulders. And her friend can see me, but she can't see me. So I pull that hook out, and she's instantly like, wow, I didn't realize how much how much tension I was holding in my shoulders. I didn't tell her where the hook was. I just pulled it out. And the friend is looking at me like, looking at her, looking at me, looking at her. I'm like, yep, that's what happened. You saw that. It happened. And that's still, like, even as a professional, even though it happens frequently, it still kind of blows my mind a little bit. Like, I don't know, it keeps you going. It's nice to help people. It really is nice to help people. Tentacles. I've pulled tentacles out of people. I don't know. And those seem more intentional. Like, the hooks are people who are just clinging on to feed. But, like, the tentacles, it's like they're feeding at a distance. Or they're trying to puppet somebody. I don't know how to describe that. We don't really need to go into that. Because it is weird. That's one of the weirder ones. I don't want to give people too much of the creepy crawlies, so I'm not going to go into, like, the weird ones. If you want to hear more about the weird stories, I may do a scripted video of this. So put that in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help me out, please. Just let me know I'm doing a good job. It helps a lot, honestly. Don't forget, you can check me out at Dottie the Psychic. That's DOTTIE, thepsychic.com. I've also got Madame Tortuga's Lounge. That's kind of where I've got shameless self-promotion, but I've got a lot of my heavier stuff, and I'm really thinking about maybe doing more heavy stuff on that channel because I'm kind of fed up with shameless self-promotion. Not that it's fun. It's fun, and I love most of my guests, honestly. It's been a lot of fun. But also, I've been doing it for years now, and it's just a pain to find guests. And I've had situations where I've completely fallen off production because I can't find somebody who wants to do the interview with me. Like, I have to hound people to do the interview, and it's not sparking the joy it once did. I may still do it on occasion. I'm definitely going to do it on occasion because I've got one in the can and one scheduled and one that says he's going to schedule when he gets a chance. So it's probably not going to go totally away, but I'm probably going to put more of my think pieces on there, I guess. Looking at the world like a psychic. I know, it's a thunder. I was just scared of puppy. Lufer's not a fan of the thunder. You say hello, Peter. Say hello. Hello, good dog. Him's a good dog. Got Ray in the chin there, buddy. It's okay, it's just thunder. Okay, I think... Oh, you know what? Let's talk a little bit before I go. Before we go, let's talk a little bit at how there are other ways to deal with this. This is not a new concept. Like, if you talk to 5 psychics, you're going to get 10 ways that they can kind of look and ideas about these kind of attachments. But everybody can kind of knows that they're there. Like, and sometimes when you're doing a reading for somebody and helping them find their own energetic source, then they're able to kick those hooks themselves. People going through enlightenments, if you're going through an enlightenment period, like, one of the symptoms of leveling up is that you kind of lose people that are not on your same energetic level. And a lot of times that is because those hooks that were kind of holding you down in that energetic level are dissolving. They are, well, not necessarily even dissolving. It's that you are no longer, there's that part of you that is hooked is no longer able to be hooked in that manner. Like, there's not the emotional wound that they can connect to. Because that is a lot of sometimes what happens. So I definitely want to do this video. Like, this could definitely be a full-length scripted video. Because I would love to, like, talk about different healing modalities that help. I think that's all I got for this video. Definitely, Don't let yourself be taken advantage of. If there is somebody in your life, and if there's somebody in your life and every time they talk to you, it hurts in your body and you feel like you're being taken advantage of, you do not have to have that person in your life. Unless it is like an underage child. Like, you can get yourself free. In this day and age, as terrible as things look, you can get yourself free. Yeah. I think that's what I got for y'all. Safe travel and much profit to you.